My name is Jenny Lazara. I'm the board chair for the Brain Injury Association of Illinois, and I'm also a rehabilitation nurse. And chances are, if you're watching this video, you or a loved one has sustained a brain injury. We've gathered together a group of professionals that work in the field of brain injury and also people who've sustained a brain injury to give you a little bit of information and a perspective and may be able to answer some of your questions.
Brain injury is an insult to the central nervous system. By the central nervous system, I mean either the brain or the spinal cord. In this case, we're talking about the brain is the most complicated, the most important part of the entire body. Injury to that brain can occur in a variety of ways. It can occur by trauma, a car accident, or blunt injury. It can occur by a fall. It can occur as an injury from a blood vessel problem, a blood vessel breaks, an aneurysm, or an arterial venous malformation. It can occur from tumor, which affects the brain. It can occur from infection. Anything that affects the brain, the central nervous system, can be considered a brain injury.
Most likely family members who have gotten a terrible phone call in the middle of the night or in the middle of the afternoon saying someone's been hurt, please come to the hospital. And over the course of a period of hours or days, they've come to understand that someone in their family or a close friend or someone meaningful to them has suffered some sort of a trauma which has caused them to possibly lose consciousness, at the very least to have suffered some sort of a brain injury.
The question comes how long the patient has to follow with the rehabilitation doctor, the neuro rehabilitation physician after discharge, after any of these different types of therapies. And I usually tell my patients the rest of your life.
It's very likely that you had no knowledge of brain injury or what that entailed prior to having your own injury. That's very common. Brain injury is said to be a personal injury, and when you say it's a personal injury, it's because people are often afraid to mention to their employers, to their teachers, to their neighbors, and even to their own family members that they have sustained a brain injury.
There's another group of people who have suffered a trauma above and beyond the patient, and that's the family, the people who are listening to this. Interestingly, the patient probably won't remember much of what happens, but the family will.
Well, it was on March 9th, 1980. He was going out with his friends, and they went to a tavern, and we got a call in the morning at 4:30 from a police officer saying that if we are Mr. and Mrs. Famera, that our son was in an accident. And I said, oh yes? He says, yes. I said, well, how bad is he? They said, you better come down and look.
It wasn't for my family and for my brothers and sisters, the way they helped Jim rehab with his speech and his, even he said like tying his shoe and just learning to eat. It was just tremendous. He wouldn't be where he is today. He'd probably just be a vegetable laying in the bed, and so for us, the family was very, very important.
One morning I was getting up for work and I fell out, and they had to rush me to the hospital. And first they said I had a brain tumor, and then they found I had a brain aneurysm. So they had to do emergency surgery. There's some things that I was dealing with that my family could not understand. And so it was very supportive that I connected with Jenny and Felicia and with the Brain Association of Illinois and got connected with the Headway Support Group.
December 16th, 1993 was an important day for me because that's the day that I suffered a ruptured aneurysm. When I woke up from the hemorrhage, I was in the hospital room and there was my doctor, Dr. Daniel Hafez, and my two brothers, Robert and Alan Gutierrez. The doctor said, you have suffered a major brain injury, an aneurysm in your brain, a subarachnoid hemorrhage, and you have 4 cups of blood in your brain. A brain injury is a serious thing. As I said, a day doesn't go by in my life that I don't think of this aneurysm. And I'm grateful that I had it. And I'm grateful that I'm here to tell you about it. Because what I want to tell you is that you should never give up if you are someone who has suffered a brain injury. Because you can survive a brain injury. And also, if you're a family member of someone who has suffered a brain injury, you should never give up on them.
The recovery from brain injury is unpredictably predictable in that we know that people go through a genesis or metamorphosis. They change, they develop, or they redevelop. How long they're in each of these stages, we can't say for sure.
Many individuals after brain injury have sort of a sleep-wake sort of confusion. They sleep during the day, they're awake at night, or their sleep is very fragmented and broken up. And all of us, if we're not having adequate sleep, at some point, sometimes get very agitated or even angry.
These folks may be confused, they may not act right, they may have some memory problems, they may be more sleepy or more tired than usual. And for the most part, these patients do well and recover, and it may take days to weeks or even months until they're back to normal. And a very small number of folks who have a mild brain injury may not recover completely.
To this day, every time I do a live shot, I worry about the fact that I'm going to forget my name and forget where I'm at. I'm not afraid that I'll forget the material, but I'm afraid that I'm going to forget my name and where I'm at because my short-term memory is still affected by this.
Brain injury has been considered by many to be a, quote, silent epidemic. There are 2 million injuries a year. About 500,000 go to the emergency room. And that's probably underdiagnosed. The silent epidemic is real. What we always recommend is if there is someone who is having any problems on the gridiron, on the field, any problems at work, ask us.
There are things you don't see. Let's say you see somebody with a cast and immediately you think, what broke? Well, you don't see anybody with a cast around the head.
My name is Don Nolan. I'm a lawyer who's had the privilege of being involved with the Illinois Brain Injury Association for many years. When a person is injured, their legal rights are immediately affected. And it's very important from the very beginning to have a lawyer involved as part of your team in representing your interests in the very many areas where brain injury becomes important.
Brain Injury Association is the single most important lifeline for many families. It provides information on where the support group is, an information group, what doctors are known, what lawyers are known.
The Brain Injury Association is a wonderful organization to help people deal with brain injuries, to learn about their injury, to learn about how to do things better.
It's been very positive, uplifting, and giving me the courage to believe in myself.
So if you have any questions, you can go to them and you can ask them, where should I go for help? What should I do? Is this how I should be feeling? And I think that that is something that you should definitely take advantage of because it's a great resource.
The Brain Injury Association of Illinois has a variety of programs and services. I would encourage you to call us or visit our website. You may not be looking for specific information, but you may want to reach out for support and encouragement. And I would ask that you give us a call so that we can be a provider of that. You're not alone, and there is someone there.